Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's fourth and final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's final video. So day 10 will take us around the 13th of September. We'll be able to extend out beyond that. It's today's GFS and ECM ensembles, around a couple of weeks. And have a look at the CFS V2 for October for the first time at the end of the video. So more about that a little bit later on. Before I get on with that, just say that the first video release here was our 7 AM upload. We've also released the ECM to have 6 weeks look ahead as well as January Friday, so very much focusing on like September look aheads today, and check out all today's videos and content if you'd like to see about. We'll be live streaming after 10 o'clock tonight, so I should see you live after 10, and we'll check in and see how we're all doing, have a bit of a laugh perhaps on this Friday night, so that'll be after 10 o'clock tonight. See you then. Right, okay, let's go on with the video then. So we've got 3 areas of interest, got 2 disturbance areas and Hurricane Larry. So let's deal with this disturbance area here first of all. So that is disturbance 1 with a 0% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days and a 20% chance in the next 5 days. I don't think I have to worry too much about that one. We also have this X just here, so that's disturbance 2, and that's giving a 20% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days, and a 20% chance of cyclone formation in the next 5 days as well. So again, it doesn't look at the moment, so we have to worry too much about that one either. And then we've got Hurricane Larry just here. So Larry is currently giving maximum sustained winds of 90 miles per hour, so a Category 1 hurricane with a minimum central pressure of 982 millibars and moving west-northwestwards at 20 miles per hour. Clicking on Larry, we can see this is still being forecast very shortly to power up to a major hurricane status. So it starts off just there, Category 1. By Saturday, by tomorrow, it's become a major hurricane, and then this major hurricane Larry is going to push in that direction. So by the middle of next week, that's the area that Larry could be in. Looks like getting ever closer to Bermuda, so I'm sure the people, in Bermuda are going to be watching things very, very closely, see what Larry is going to do through the course of next week. At the moment, no evidence that Larry is going to impact the east coast of the United States directly. But of course, if it is going in this direction, then eventually it might end up on the east coast of the States. But I think before it gets there, definitely the focus will be on Bermuda, where things could get pretty wild if it carries on in that sort of northwest direction. The strength of Larry is now going up to a Category 4 hurricane. So at the moment it's Category 1, giving 90 mile an hour sustained winds. But as we get into the weekend, it gives sustained winds of 120, 130, 140 miles per hour by the end of the weekend into the beginning of next week. That's up to Category 4 status. So this is going to be another Category 4 hurricane by the look of it. In about 5 days' time, as it's getting closer to Bermuda, then it's weakening slightly, actually, at the moment, in terms of the forecast of Larry. So maybe it'll weaken before it gets to Bermuda. But at the moment, it looks like it's certainly going to reach Category 4 status in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So not impacted anywhere directly as a Category 4 hurricane, just in the middle of the ocean. And that's going to be like in around 2 to 3 days' time. So all eyes are going to be on Larry. See what Larry does, I suppose, through the course of next week. Right, these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. The next couple of weeks we're going to London. So red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London, and we're starting off above average at the moment. It's going to be warm over the next week or so. In fact, it's going to get quite hot through the early part of next week. I think on the surface, if sun comes out, we could well see temperature not all that far from 30 degrees around Tuesday next week, getting to mid-80s Fahrenheit. By the end of next week, we have got a cool down in evidence, so we drop down closer to average, but possibly still a little bit on the warmer than average side, if anything, actually, so a little bit above the red line with the ensemble mean, indicating that although it will cool down as we go into the second week of September, it is probably going to still stay quite warm, you know, a little bit warmer than average. Looks like it's going to get a bit more unsettled as well. Lots of dry weather to come over the next few days, but by the middle to latter stages of next week, turning more unsettled, and that carries on into the middle of September with more in the way of rainfall. Temperature anomalies on the 3rd to the 11th of September going to be warmer than average, not just the UK, but through most parts of Europe, and particularly Western Europe in the weekend. Precipitation anomalies from the 3rd to the 11th of September still drier than normal. The latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net shows that high pressure is still in control, but we are beginning to change the wind direction very slightly now. So remember, for days on end, around a couple of weeks really, we've been bringing in this northeasterly wind, but origins of still sort of north of east really, but just a little bit more of an easterly tilt to the wind now, you'll notice. So not yet coming from that drier air source from off the continent like east-southeast, still coming from a relatively cloudy source of air from like the North Sea. But yes, the wind direction is now very subtly starting to change, and this should begin to allow a little bit more brightness to start to develop, and that should be the trend over the next few days. So by the time we get through to the early part of next week, I think we should be starting to draw up drier air from off the continent from like an east-southeast direction. Should be starting to break up quite a lot of that cloud. Right, let's start going through the generic charts and show put webcam back on for this today. Hello, I've returned. Right, so this is how the UK Met is looking for Monday. So high pressure dominates weather on Monday over the country and to our east, drawing up the air from like a southerly southeast direction. Should start to break up a lot of that cloud. More sunshine, should see temperatures getting hotter. That carries on into Tuesday and on into Wednesday as well. Winds in from south-southeast. Going to be quite hot through the early part of next week. Summer is not done with us yet. Temperatures going into the upper 20s Celsius, possibly hovering around 30 degrees by the middle of next week. Have got its low pressure to the rest of the island starting to move in by Wednesday, and that could begin to bring increasing risk of heavy showers and thunderstorms, and that carries on into the second half next week, turning more unsettled then through the second half of next week quite clearly, with that low pressure beginning to move in off the Atlantic. Will bring showers along as well as rain and start to lower the temperature as well, and there might be thunder involved in that breakdown. This is how the, so that's as far as we go for UK Met. This is how the GFS midnight run is looking. Again, for Monday, high pressure is ridging in across the country, loads of dry, fine and warm to very warm, even hot weather. That carries on into Tuesday and through to Wednesday as well. Lower pressure beginning to develop out to our west, starting to push northwards and eastwards as we go into the middle of next week. There's the upper air temperatures for Wednesday, bringing up plus 15 Celsius. Now that could be enough to get southern parts of England into or up to around 30 degrees by the middle of next week, dependent on how much sunshine there is and whether those showers break out, of course. By Thursday, so it's midnight Thursday, we're bringing the trough of low pressure in from the Atlantic, bringing showers or longer spells, rain, maybe thunder involved, and that will start to lower the temperature. Heading into the second half of next week, we turn wind direction into a west-northwesterly, so obviously temperatures will start to cool down quite significantly. Still with relatively high pressure though, this time just out to our west, so you know, it's not going to be particularly wet, but temperatures will start to lower. There's Larry, by the way, around Newfoundland by midnight on Saturday, the 11th of September. And up to day 10, we pull wind into the north, actually, with high pressure sort of pushing out to the northwest, low pressure in the North Sea, turn wind into the north. So that's like a swipe of autumn there as we get to day temperature for 13th of September. You'll certainly feel the drop in temperature if that comes off. Very anticyclonic, though, in the extended range with this GFS from the high pressure over to west of the country. So that's going to be quite autumnal, you know, be quite chilly by night, maybe in ground frost levels in the north. By day, if it's sunny, and I think it probably would be after we introduce that northerly wind, by day, probably relatively pleasant in the September sunshine, but nights will be quite cold with that. And all the time we keep that high pressure way to our northwest. We actually finish up kind of where we have been over the past few weeks, really. This is Friday the 17th of September. High pressure's out to our northwest. We're pulling in these northeasterly winds again around the edge of high pressure. That probably will start to drag more cloud in, I'm afraid, from off the North Sea. But we are a very long way out now. That's the 17th of September. We basically keep that scenario going right up to the very end of the GFS midnight run with high pressure to our west and the winds pulling in from the northeast. So quite cool in the extended range and rather autumnal with the GFS midnight run. This is a 6Z, very latest. Again, high pressure ridging in from the east as we go through the early part of next week. We'll draw up some quite hot air from the south through the early part of next week. Midweek sees a breakdown as this low pressure begins to push in from off the Atlantic. That will bring showers, longer spells, rain, and possibly thunder might be involved in that as well. The trough then sort of transfers eastwards through the second half of next week, and we go into a cooler northwesterly, and it'll be quite showery with that as well, I would have thought. There's Larry just there to the south of Greenland by weekend of the 11th, 12th of September. It looks like Larry is sort of stalling in the North Atlantic and starting to promote this ridge from the southwest. So the upshot of Larry by day 10, which is the 13th of September on the GFS 6Z, is rather different to the midnight run, shows that high pressure is back in over the country and in a warmer position this time. Instead of bringing down northerly, northeasterlies, we're actually pushing up likely southerly, southwesterly with the 6Z. And in the extended range, GFS 6Z then goes to town with high pressure and starts to pull those very warm southeasterly winds back in once again. So as we get, into the second half of September, we're still basically anticyclonic and still looking, or we're pretty warm, with GFS 6Z. It is rather different to the midnight run. They're both anticyclonic, but very different in the placement of the ridges. Again, just highlighting the uncertainty. If you enjoyed the video, then please hit a special like button to make sure you're sub to the channel. Thank you so much everybody for doing that, and drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Thank you so much. Right, this is how the GM is looking. So Monday, again, high pressure is sitting over into the east of the country. That carries on through Tuesday and Wednesday, dragging up wind from the south-southeast. It will be turning hotter through the early part of next week. Then the second half of next week, the trough begins to meander in from off the Atlantic. That could bring some heavy showers and some thunder with it, and then start to cool things down through the second half of next week. Looking quite unsettled into weekend of 11th, 12th of September with the GM. So we're under a trough of low pressure there, cooler and more showering, and looking quite unsettled up to day 10, actually. I think that's the remains of Larry just there, much further south than the GFS has it, and seemingly, probably, heading our way. So the GEM around day 7, 8, 9, 10 turning quite a lot more unsettled compared to the GFS output. And then we've got the ECM looking like this. So once again, the early part of next week is going to be hot with high pressure over to the east of the country, drawing up wind from that southerly, southeasterly direction. Middle of the week, start to see lower pressures developing to the west and to the south. Could highlight a thundery breakdown through the second half of next week. Temperatures lower and heavy showers and thunderstorms break out. There's Larry just there, moving to the south of Newfoundland by the weekend of the 11th and the 12th of September. And then as we get into the end of the ECM run, which gets to day 10, 13th of September, Larry is to the south of Greenland as that area of low pressure. It's a weak area of high pressure sitting to our north. We're a lot cooler now. We're bringing winds from northeast direction. And if I had to hazard a guess of what happened from that, I suspect Larry would sort of roll in. That does look like quite a weak ridge. So I think Larry would then, or the remains of Larry would roll in and bring us probably a spell of wet and windy weather around the middle part of September. So loads and loads of options, for days 7, 8, 9, 10 and beyond, all down to replacement and the development of ex-hurricane Larry. What happens with that area of low pressure is going to be important, I think, for the middle of September. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from tometeo.com. Going to be loads of dry weather over the next few days. A few showers coming and going, but plenty of dry weather until sort of the end of the weekend, where we bring some wet weather into Scotland, Northern Ireland. Some quite heavy rain in with that actually starting into Monday. Tries to come southwards, but is running into high pressure, so sort of dies a death. And then the early part of next week is mainly dry and settled and increasingly warm as well. Middle to second half next week sees these heavy showers and potentially thunderstorms beginning to break out. So clearly much more unsettled by the time we get through to this time next week. We're seeing big showers and storms potentially breaking out there. And that carries on into the weekend, into the following weekend, and up to day 10, generally looking rather showery, and temperatures would be a lot cooler as well. Right, let's turn webcam off and we'll have a look at the options on the table within the ECM ensembles for day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office vis-a-vis. This gets us to the 13th of September. 13 members of the ECM ensembles are unsettled with a trough of low pressure over country, so clearly that's going to be showery, showers along as well as rain. That does include the operational run as well. 12 with high pressure just to our northwest. That's going to be drier, bringing in winds from like an easterly direction. 10 just here have low pressure again over into south of the country. That could be really quite unsettled. 9 with a Scandinavian high, bringing in the wind from an easterly direction. And 7 with low pressure to our north and bringing in wind from a rather cool west-northwesterly direction. I think the ECM ensembles have shifted unsettled for day 10 generally. So to put the 13 there together with the 10 there and also the 7 here, we have clearly got a majority within the ECM ensembles that are in favour of unsettled weather at day 10. Again, that is all down, however, to the placement of ex-Hurricane Larry. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us to the 18th of September. 14 members of the ECM ensembles then have low pressure towards Iceland and Greenland. High pressure to our south and east again. So that's turning drier again and potentially quite warm. 13 with low pressure over country. That's going to be cool and unsettled. 12 with high pressure over and just to the east. That's going to be drier and warmer. And number 12 just here with low pressure to our northeast, high pressure to our southwest. That's going to be a bit unsettled and will be quite cool with winds in from the northwest. So again, a lot of uncertainty for days 10 to 14 really. But I think at day 10, the ECM ensembles have shifted today more towards the unsettled side of things actually. Finally, CFS V2 for October. This is the opening salvo from the CFS for October. This is the forecasted 700 millibar height anomaly. So it's looking quite unsettled, actually, in October with below average heights over and just to our west-northwest. There is some blocking around Greenland, but overall this is looking quite unsettled with low pressure over and to the west of the UK and Ireland. So the temperature anomaly for October with winds in from like a southwesterly direction, it's quite a mild month with slightly above average temperatures. Not much of a signal for rainfall, but a little bit wetter than average just to our west could be indicative of a unsettled, rather wet, but also relatively mild October. We will have to wait and see about that, of course. Right, so if you enjoyed today's video and videos, then please can you smash the like button on all of them. Make sure you are subscribed to our channel. You're going to be able to see future weather content if you do that. Tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. And drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. We have now got to put on around 20 subscribers, that's all, to get to 10.9k. So we're very, very close now, 10.9k subscribers. And when we get 10.9k, you know, just put on another 20. So it could happen like tomorrow or Sunday. When we get to 10.9k, we will begin to open up the draw for the merch giveaway, but we're going to do at 12k. We're going to give away 2 GavsWeatherVids pillows, and we'll be able to start taking people's names and so on for that giveaway in 20 subscribers time. So not long to go at all before we start opening up the draw. So that's going to be absolutely great. And we're nearly there now to be able to start taking everybody's names at 10.9k. So please, 11.9k I should say. So please give us a sub. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. And it's amazing, it's incredible. Thank you so much. Right, so that's it for today's videos. We are going to be live streaming though. after 10 o'clock tonight, probably half an hour or so. So I shall see you live after 10, and we'll have a look at the 12s then, and we'll see how we're all doing. Have a bit of a laugh on this Friday night. Weekend could be a very, very big weekend at GavsWeatherVids. So tomorrow, we'll start off with our 7 a.m. forecast. We'll have the September forecast from GavsWeatherVids as well tomorrow, and also weekend forecast and a 10 to 14 dayer. And then Sunday, massive day. We start off with September forecast at 2 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. We will be premiering part 1 of the first winter 2021-2022 update. Part 2 then will be premiered at 7 p.m, 8 p.m, I think it is, on Monday night. So yeah, 2 premieres coming up on Sunday and Monday. Part 1 of the first winter update will be on Sunday at 2 p.m. as a premiere, and then we'll be live streaming, of course, from 6 p.m. on Sunday evening. So winter updates are about to commence. It's all going to start kicking off again, and it's going to be a massive weekend at GavsWeatherVids. So whether it's going to be uploads, whether it's for the live streams or the premieres, I'll see you very soon. You enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon, and for this one, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.